what you see in that human being is, it's unusual, I just think, in the world. But there are many, many of our alums who, like him, care deeply about this law school and will come back, just to talk to you about the potential that the law school has and what it meant for him. And I'm not sure how much of this, might matter to you, but for example, at our orientation, we have an unusual and I think an extraordinarily powerful orientation program that we do. It stretches over several days. But part of that program involves a large group of our alums who come back. They're invited, but they come back on their own motion and their own dime, just to make that clear, because they want to have the opportunity to interact with the new students. And they meet in pairs with a group of between 10, 15, 8 incoming students about the second full day, the second actual day of orientation, to talk to you, answer your questions, talk about their own lives. Remember, if you come for that, ask for their business cards. They expect you to do it. In other words, this is what it means to have graduated from the College of Law for them, and what they give back to our students and what they give back to our alumni as they go through their careers. I said I've been in Korea a few times recently, just most recently, about 2 weeks ago, and I spent about 2 weeks there. We have 110 alumni in Korea. They have their own alumni association. They have dinner together 4 times a year. They are running all kinds of things in the corporate world, in the practice world, in the biggest and the best law firms in Korea, and they're also in the government. And, from here to there, one of them said to me, as we were in a cab going someplace, said, when I think about going to the alumni dinner, I get nervous because this person was in a law firm. And I said, all these people are like clients. But they said, when I walk in the room, it feels like I'm coming home. That's quite a statement. I'm not saying everybody feels like that. Or they're coming to a dysfunctional home. I don't know. But there's something here that produces that. And that has not existed from 5 years ago or 2 years ago. But 50 years ago, 60 years ago, the alums from that period have that same feeling. And I usually give a little spiel about how you make decisions about law school and whatever. All I'm going to say, as I'm sure you've been told this already, is do not feel that this is anything other than your opportunity to get what you can from the people you see and from each other. You may be classmates, and that's a good thing. It's not about the law school telling you, you should come here, because if you're admitted students, we think this is a good place for you. But those decisions are your decisions. They're not our decisions. And which we try to do in these visitor programs, and you can see we don't bring hundreds of people. We do a number of these programs, particularly so they can be smaller, and you have greater opportunity, I think, to interact with the people you'll talk with. That's your opportunity to learn something. You can't get everything. Let's face it, this is fake. This is not, hey, this is my first day in law school. It's not. But we try to do this in a way that gives you as much opportunity as you can in a very short period of time to learn what you can learn, ask what you can ask, and then take it away and think about it. It really is about what's right for you. We made a decision. We think you're right for us, but hey, you've got to make that decision for yourself. I want to remind you of one thing. When you're looking at schools, there are several ways to slice and dice them. One is there are some totally freestanding law schools. That is to say, they're not in or connected with a university. They may try to do some programming with other schools and whatever, but they're independent. We call them independent schools. And they have a lot of virtues. They really do. And they may be the place for you individually. But they're not the same as schools like Syracuse. In fact, there are very few schools that are like Syracuse. Syracuse is a law school that's not just associated with or part of, but embedded in a major research university. And we define ourselves in many ways as a law school by that. That is the opportunity for engaging in legal education that we think is much more powerful than being sort of disconnected to the other disciplines. Because one of the things we know, and historically has been true for our graduates, is that you learn a lot by having opportunities to be part of other disciplines, whether it's going to a lecture, engaging with other graduate students. We have programs, and I'm sure you'll hear about, or if you don't know about them already, that really are about major connections to other colleges on campus. And those people actually do live a highly interdisciplinary life. They work together with other graduate students. When they go out into the world, they're not intimidated by another discipline, and they're also not hostile to it. They know how to crosstalk, and that is critical, ever more critical in the world, whether you're going to go into business or you're going to practice law. Some of the big partners in litigation firms who are our graduates have said the most important thing you have to make people understand is, you got to get you got to know a bit about some other things. So that's a virtue. It may not be for you. It's not a plus or a minus. It's very much an individualized and institutional decision. So think about those things. Those things are not necessarily the things that pop to your mind right away. For the families in the room, I have 4 children, 2 of whom went to law school. Very different law schools, and no one would come here, of course. And I say that, of course, because I would have just vetoed their admission. It's not appropriate. No, I really mean it. I mean, the notion that you go to law school where a parent was a dean or a faculty member strikes me as not a good thing. But they did go to law school, and I know as a family member what that's like to kind of watch your, in my case, children, trying to figure out, what do I do, where do I go, whatever. I think one made an excellent choice, and one made a not so good choice, just because of, I think, the career opportunities that they had and the connectivity that they had. But they don't know that. No, actually, they do. Okay, the one other thing I wanted to the real reason I just said I have to talk to this group is because last night I attended, which I do try to do every year, a student achievement banquet, and it's called the Pinnacle Achievement Awards, and its purpose, and I just want to read this to you, is to celebrate and recognize the highest achievements of our graduating class. So all these students are there, and many of them get multiple recognition. When you sit there, it really validates what you heard. The people who are most engaged, I mean seriously engaged, not like, hey, I think I'll really accomplish the most. I mean, that was just a very impressive and lovely evening because these students are so happy for their classmates. I watched the pictures that were being taken, and the guys are horsing around and kind of doing these silly things. That's about the connection that they have to each other. The outgoing SBA president spoke to the group and just thanked them for who they were and all they'd done and how they'd moved the school forward, and they did move the school forward. The incoming SBA president, he was just, it made you glad to be the dean of a law school. Now, let me tell you right now, there are not that many things to be happy about as dean of law school. Mostly it's just like, complaint, and I'm just talking about the faculty now. I'm not talking about but, you're in there and you say, this is why I do this. This is what matters. These people matter. And when you see them like that, and you see the accomplishment, and you see, by the way, a staff member who gave birth to a baby that I think truly was 13 pounds. And this person is on maternity leave. She had the baby, 2 weeks ago? She showed up because she works in the Office of Student Life. And these are her people. And I'm like, they announced that the Dean of Student Life announced she's here in an unofficial capacity. I mean, it was like, no, she's on maternity leave. She's not supposed to be doing this. But what does that say? I mean, that says something that you can't really translate except to say that it's a pleasure to be the dean of a college where that is the feeling in the community of community. And just to make it clear, this community, that if you join the community, we'll be in this building for exactly 1 more year. So after that, you will, if you join us, be moving across the street into beyond a state-of-the-art, beautiful community space. And it was about community that was the guiding principle for the way that building was designed and the way it's being constructed. So obviously, we think it would be a good fit for you. But again, those are really and truly your decisions. And I say this to every group that I get a chance to talk to. That is, if anybody is making you feel like you're not, like they're trying to sell you something or just pressure you, please do. My email address is on the website, and it comes directly to me. There's no screen. Let me know if that happened, because that violates everything about these programs, and it sort of violates our own sense of who we are as an institution. So, cut into your time, I know, I'm very sorry. But anyway, thank you for your attention and allowing me to interject myself into the program, and I hope you do enjoy them. Whatever, enjoy it. It's not like fraud. It's enjoy. I'm serious. Enjoy. There's not a lot to enjoy in decision making. I know that. I've actually written some stuff about that, about how that applies to law schools. That's the paradox of choice. Too much choice makes you nuts. When you're here, try not to let that be what's going on with you. Experience what you can get, and then walk away and become paradoxically confused or challenged later, but not now. Have a good time. Okay, thanks.